and welcome to the first edition of El Mando Boxing TV. We're here to discuss the forthcoming fight between two titans of the sport, Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, and the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury. To the right of me, I have Gabriel, and to the left of me, Robert and David.
So what do you feel? You have it there now. So Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. Who do you think is going to win and why and how? Let me just explain to you. Let's start with Robert.
I think this will be a more definitive fight than the last time. I feel that in the rematch, I favour Deontay Wilder over Tyson Fury, just because in past fights between Deontay Wilder, when he tends to fight someone a second time, he's much more definitive and confident, and he tends to knock him out a lot quicker than he did the first time round.
Okay, David, what do you feel about that?
Well, actually, from the little that I know about boxing now, so I think it's going to be on point. I think if they're going to drag it, if you remember the fight between AJ and Ruiz, the first match, you see the way the fight was, and the second time they're coming to fight, they both prepare differently. So, and what people were expecting, that whether he's going to knock him out or whether he's going to knock AJ out, but it was different, it was on point. I think this time around, Tyson Fury would want to space himself away from Deontay, and he's going to be aiming for knockouts, and he's not going to have. So this fight is going to be on point, and Deontay might win.
Okay, on point?
Yeah.
Okay, well, Michael, what do you feel about
Well, I feel that both fighters are obviously well prepared for this rematch. A lot's at stake, you know. I do feel that if it goes the distance, I give it to Tyson. Deontay Wilder, as we all know, needs just a second to turn the table, you know. Undeniable right puncher from Deontay can change things drastically. So it's a hard one to call, but I do feel that if it goes the distance, it's definitely Tyson victory.
Oh, well, everybody's entitled to their opinion. I personally think Tyson Fury will win this fight. It brings me back to the thriller, not thriller in Manila. It brings me back to the Rumble in the Jungle, George Foreman versus Muhammad Ali. And I feel like Tyson Fury is the Muhammad Ali of this day, and Deontay Wilder is the George Foreman of that day. And there's no way, when a boxer always marks up against a puncher, the boxer usually wins. And Tyson Fury being out of the ring for like 2-3 years, coming back in and drawing the fight, now that his feet as a fiddle, I don't think Deontay Wilder has a chance. Though I like Deontay Wilder, but I think Tyson Fury will take this one.
But Deontay, I like that. Deontay brings a lot to the table. You know, I mean, yes, Tyson Fury,
in terms of what?
In terms of on paper, Tyson Fury might look like the better candidate, but Deontay is all heart, and like you said, that punch has put people to sleep in the past. It's unpredictable. I mean, you cannot tell me that you can't have a full 12 rounds of boxing without that punch come into play, and that's all it takes, that punch to turn the tables around. Yes, it's a close match, but you know, we just can't underestimate Deontay.
We have to also look at the mentality of both boxers.
Yeah.
Tyson Fury right now is currently mentioning about retiring from the sport again, so you have to also think, is his mentality to think that he's going to win this fight, or is he thinking that he might potentially lose, or what's he going to do once he loses? And also, in addition to, you have to also remember, Fury's already felt what it's like to be knocked down by Deontay Wilder, but Wilder has never hit the ground in all of his boxing career, so that says something about his toughness in the ring. So if it was a case where I feel that Tyson Fury can win, it should be a case of just outboxing Deontay Wilder, probably just sticking behind the jab and running, which probably isn't Fury's style, but that's the only way I see him winning. Or if Deontay Wilder can't make the mistake of trying to turn Deontay Wilder into a boxer instead of leaving him as a fighter, because when he's in the ring as a fighter, nobody can match him, but it's when they start making him into a boxer, all of these mistakes start coming up, because he's not that way inclined, so he leaves a lot of spaces and opens for people to come and attack him. So if they let Deontay Wilder do what he does best, hands down, Deontay Wilder will have this.
Because the way I see it, the boxer can punch and the puncher can fight. So irrespective, and these guys look at their sizes, there's nobody that they will not give me the opportunity. If the right punch lands, they will knock anyone out. And definitely look at even Tyson Fury, we're all saying that he's not doing this, he's not doing that. He's got like maybe 70 to 80% knockout ratio, so it's not that bad anyway. He's a big guy himself. So Deontay Wilder just has to be careful of that 1-2 connecting. So he has to be very careful. Though he's a knockout artist, but he just has to be careful. What do you think, David?
Well, I think you guys said it all. I think I'm just sticking to that point that fight is going to be one long fight and it's going to be on points. They're going to drag it a lot.
I think the fair is that we hope that it doesn't turn out to be a boring fight. But both fighters are cautious in not obviously unleashing what they know they bring to the game. Obviously, there's a lot at stake. I mean, one could compare it to the Joshua and Ruiz rematch. Yes, I mean Joshua did do what he had to do, but we all can probably agree to the fact that there had been more exciting fights than Joshua.
Watching the press conference, Tyson Fury said he's aiming to knock Deontay Wilder out. Do you think that that's just mind games, or that is actually, he means it? What do you feel about that?
Obviously, that's the mind game. Obviously, if you're fighting someone, you need to make them feel you. You need to put the fear in them. You need to let them, come to the ring with that mind that this guy might knock me out. He might do what he said. So that's just playing with the mindset, I think, and that's all part of the fight. So it's all start from the psychological fight and all that. So
you think that 2 round that Tyson Fury keeps saying that he's going to knock him out in 2 rounds, he does not mean it.
He's putting the fear in. He plans to do that, but it doesn't mean it's going to happen.
It's fight talk. It's fight talk. I personally can't see that happening. Looking at Tyson Fury, yes, he's a puncher, he's a boxer, but as far as I'm concerned, from what I can see from his past fights, I don't think he's got that. I don't think he's got what it takes to put Deontay to the floor like that. If he does, I'd be very, very surprised. As a boxer, yes, hands down. But as a power puncher, it's a question mark looming over.
But to be honest with you, looking at the last press conference they had, the confidence that both of them showed was just out of this world. You saw both of them just sat with their legs hanging by their knees, and they were talking to themselves, being such a confident man and that. I've been with you already, and now I know how to beat you. And that's worrying. I personally will not write Tyson Fury off again. I've done it 4 times. And I failed 4 times. Against Chisora 1, against Chisora 2, against Klitschko, and against Deontay Wilder. And every time I've beaten this guy up, he finds a way to either win the game or lose controversially. So Tyson Fury, for me, I think he's got this.
Yeah, not taking anything away from Fury. Fury is an excellent fighter, but the way in which he takes this from Deontay is questionable. I can't see him knocking out Deontay.
Yeah, I don't see a 2-round finish.
I see the fight going the distance, and if it goes the distance, like I said before, it's definitely going to be a Tyson victory.
Okay, I've got a question for Rob. We all know about Tyson Fury that he changed his trainer recently. Is that going to be a factor in the fight?
I think it's a big factor in the fight because the previous camp he had that prepared him for the first fight. Although they did a good job in terms of conditioning him, I think his power is missing. I think there's a lot of power that has escaped Tyson Fury, and his damage comes from number of volume of punches rather than the actual knockout itself. So that's why I don't feel that Fury has that capability of just one punch knocking someone out. I feel it's going to be a build up of damage that's going to hurt Deontay Wilder rather than a conclusive punch. Whereas Deontay Wilder, as we know, most of his knockout punches have come from weird angles or places where a person shouldn't have been knocked out. So the worry is that if Tyson Fury goes after Deontay Wilder, he could end up leaving himself open to hitting the floor once again.
Well, he's the most skillful boxer, to be honest. He's more skillful than.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah, he has way more skill than.
So, Michael, would a new trainer be influencing this fight?
I see you can't teach an old dog new tricks. I think Deontay has shown the type of fighter that he is. He's a knockout artist. That's what he does best. That's what people expect in the ring. When that's what they expect from Deontay. I think they could tidy his game up a bit, you know, but in terms of like really trying to change his game and turn him into a new fighter, I think that'd be a total wrong, incorrect approach.
And David, and what do you feel about it?
Well, I think Mikey just nailed it. That's he just said what I was going to say actually. So
okay, there's something that comes to mind actually, and that's going to take us to the great Muhammad Ali. If you remember, before Muhammad Ali became a boxer, actually, he became a boxer because someone stole his bicycle. And he said there was a police officer that told him that if you want to recover your bicycle, come to my boxing gym and I will show you how to box. But he said when he went in there, the police officer was teaching him with skills how to punch and not be punched. But he said there was another trainer as well that teaches how to knock people out. So he said what he does in the morning, he goes to the trainer with the skill, and in the evening he goes to the trainer that teaches him how to knock people out. So that's what I think Tyson Fury is doing now actually, because not changing trainers and going to Emmanuel Stewart's training camp. Actually, you know what that training camp is for? Is to knock people out. He was a trainer, the same trainer he has was a trainer for what's his name?
Klitschko.
Not Klitschko, the light heavyweight boxer, Adonis Stevenson. And you could see how powerful the guy was. So Tyson Fury is going in there now. He's not going in there to outbox anyone. I think he's actually going in there to learn how to knock opponents out, and he knows that's a weak vessel in his armor actually, and I think he wants to tidy up. I personally think he's going to be coming in this time war mano, like it's been saying, it's going man for man, mano, and that's the way I feel about it anyway.
You know what it is about Tyson? I mean, yes, Tyson's lost the weight, but now he's having to adapt his style to his new weight size. This is going to take some doing, and this is where he's going to have to prove that decision to lose that weight makes sense. You know, he's a big guy, not as quick as Deontay. Yes, a puncher, but not as quick. And this is where I feel Deontay has that little advantage over Fury. You know, and you know, if Fury does knock Deontay out, it would surprise me. It really would, you know.
I won't be surprised.
It would surprise me, you know. I'm not saying that he doesn't have the capability to do it, but it would surprise me. And then we'll be looking at a new Tyson Fury, in my opinion, a new and improved Tyson Fury.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's just like start of next fight. You could see Mike Tyson versus Douglas actually. Douglas knocked Mike Tyson out, but Holyfield knocked out Douglas. So the way it goes actually does not mean that because he doesn't have a knockout punch, he can't knock anyone out. It can happen. So it depends where you are, the way you place yourself in the ring. That's what really makes a difference. That's the sport of boxing.
Anything is, you know, it depends. You know, the better man on the night. That's boxing for you. You know, you've heard professional fighters say that. It's just what happens on the night.
Yeah.
You know, but in order to demonstrate, you know, being a knockout artist, you have to be consistent. You know, and in order to put Tyson Fury in the ranks of Deontay, it had to be consistent. You'd have to watch his future fights. But Deontay has been consistent. He's been consistent. I mean,
the controversial point I'm going to bring in now. Okay, I'm comparing Deontay Wilder to George Foreman, and I'm comparing Tyson Fury to Muhammad Ali. I know Robbie said that he doesn't want to believe that. Okay, let's just now reverse the whole thing around and say, okay, Muhammad Ali fighting George Foreman. We saw what happened there, and Tyson Fury fights similarly to Muhammad Ali, and we know that Deontay Wilder is a knockout artist like George Foreman was. So when a boxer always comes against a puncher, the boxer always wins. Look at the percentage, check the history. So I feel like we just have to I don't want us to miss that point in there. I think Tyson Fury is going into this fight knowing what he needs to do.
I just want to bring up the point that, yeah, in terms of Muhammad Ali versus George Foreman, that worked for him. But you have to also remember, George Foreman was very short-tempered and very unfit. He couldn't last the rounds, so it was a game of tiring George Foreman out and then just pushing him over. Whereas we know Deontay Wilder can last 12 rounds. So that kind of tactic where you're just trying to drain a person's energy probably won't work with it.
I don't believe so, Rob.
Because if we go back to the first fight between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, it was pretty much what happened. Deontay Wilder was missing, he wasn't connecting very well, and Fury was just pretty much having 3 punches and moving away. And still in that 12th round, He got caught, and we almost thought he was down for the count.
Well, let's look at it. What you just said, I'm going to go back to what you said. You said George Foreman was not a fit boxer. But up to that point, till when they fought Muhammad Ali, he's never lost a fight.
Yep.
And they knew him as a fair boxer. Even what Muhammad Ali could not do to Joe Frazier, you saw the way he destroyed Joe Frazier. So he's going in there actually as this, warrior coming in there. That's the same way Deontay Wilder is going in there. This knockout artist, the hardest puncher of all time. And coming in there and Tyson Fury can just put him to bits. That's something that we have to be careful of, because George Foreman has never showed a stamina problem until he met Ali.
Yeah. So
we cannot really say there's a template in there yet.
But the problem is the same thing that also Mike Tyson had as well. This is why I would say you have to be careful when you're comparing them to them. That these guys were used to knocking people out 2, 3, 4 rounds. They were never people that were knocking people out 12 rounds, 8 rounds. So they never needed to go that distance. So they never really needed to work on their stamina, because they could knock people out quickly.
Who is that?
People like Mike Tyson, people like George Foreman. They were knocking people out really quickly, and before you've even finished your hamburger or blinked your eye,
that was
the person was out.
That was Mike Tyson.
Yeah. So now, when you're now putting them with someone that is tough and that can take a punch, and that was going to drag the fight out, their stamina's going to deplete quickly, because they're used to knocking people out quickly.
But let's not forget that in the 70s he used to go 15 rounds, not 12 rounds.
Yeah.
And if those guys could last 15 rounds, then the stamina they had then and the technique they had then is better than what they have now.
So you have to remember how many boxers actually went to that 15th round.
Ali used to.
Yeah, Ali used to. George Foreman never did.
Because he didn't have to.
Exactly.
Okay, Deontay Wilder, how many times has he been to 12 rounds?
He's been to 12 rounds a few times, or
How
at
many
least
times?
at least he's been past halfway. Most of his recent fights takes him to at least the 8th or 12th round before he does anything.
Okay,
So
we'll close on that one. We'll close on that one. But also, I'll put one more thing in there just to say that, to be honest, the Deontay Wilder fight and Tyson Fury's fight, around 8 or 9 round actually, Deontay Wilder started blowing heavily. He was more tired than even Tyson Fury that's been out of the ring a while. So that could have been from him trying to knock him out, throwing his haymakers, but he was more tired towards the end of the fight compared to Tyson Fury. So I'm going to move to the next question and just ask, do you believe Tyson Fury's El Mono, which means man to man, do you believe he's going to come in there like that?
I think Tyson, he knows what to look out for, and likewise Deontay. I mean, they both know what to look out for. The fair of that is that when they both begin to look out for each other in that manner, it creates for a boring fight, and I don't think that's what the fans want to see. But obviously, ultimately, the key is to win the fight, and that's what both men aim to do. It's a good even matchup. It has the potential of being an exciting fight. Yeah. I mean, they're equal matching. Opponents, and it should be a thrill.
Absolutely, Michael. Because the way I see this fight, before I tap David in, is if Tyson Fury beats Deontay Wilder on the 22nd of February, nobody's going to be like, oh, that's actually a lucky punch. They will know that, oh, he deserves to beat Deontay Wilder. If Deontay Wilder knocks out Tyson Fury, nobody will be like, oh, it's an upset. He deserves to beat him. So, to be honest, it's a genuine 50-50 fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So David, I'll just.
Yeah, I think what I'm looking for that day will be, there's going to be a lot of punches. There's going to be a lot of powerful punches, because they're both going to be aiming for that one thing that could just create the change, or make the atmosphere change, or transform the whole stadium or the whole boxing ring. So there's going to be a lot of powerful shots. It's just.
Well, we shall surely see on the 22nd of February.
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens to the winner and the loser of this fight? It's time for Michael.
That's a big question. I wouldn't say you don't hang up the gloves just yet, but if they're both great fighters, if you get beaten by the very best, it doesn't make you any less of a fighter. It's just you go back to the drawing board and take some time out and figure out what's next. But but being able to hang up your glove and say call it a day, I would think that'd be the right thing to do for either of those fighters. You know, they're exciting heavyweights. You know, we need them in the sport of boxing. However the fight goes, you know, I look forward to seeing these guys in action any day, any time.
Rob?
I feel that if Fury loses this fight, he might do what he says and retires from the boxing world. I think he's already proven himself to be a great addition to the boxing world. He, even from disappearing for a while, coming back and the way he did and holding his own the way he did was quite an achievement. So even if he does retire, I don't think anybody.
It'd be a shame if he does. Though,
I don't think anyone will look down on him.
Yeah.
Whether Deontay Wilder wins or not, I still think his next fight should be AJ, because we still need that conclusive fight. Who is better between Deontay Wilder and AJ? And that's still the money fight and what everybody wants to see.
That's it.
Yeah.
David?
Well, I think if Deontay wins the game, I think Tyson will do what he plans to do, which is retire. And if he wins the game, it's not the end of the world for Deontay Wilder. It's just, he just made a match.
Okay.
That's it.
So let me play devil's advocate here.
Yeah.
So predictions, you know, in terms of, you know, who do you feel, listening to what's been discussed, who do you feel is going to take this fight and how?
I feel Deontay Wilder is going to take this fight 8th, 9th round or by knockout.
I think this fight is going to drag to about 10 rounds and it's going to be on points. No knockouts.
Yeah, I personally feel that if it goes the distance, it's hands down Tyson Fury for me. If Deontay displays if he comes in with what we know he's about, I see that fight not lasting 7 rounds. I really do, not lasting 7 rounds, and that's Deontay being victorious.
Okay. Yeah. My prediction personally, I just feel like Tyson Fury has been up there and Deontay Wilder was down there, prior to Tyson Fury going up on, you know, everything that happened to him. And while it was away, actually, Deontay Wilder climbed up and managed to go past him. So the problem they have now is like Tyson Fury feels like he's the old king coming back to take his rightful place. And Deontay Wilder feel like I'm the new king, I deserve this, I'm meant to stay up there. Because if you remember when Tyson Fury was going to fight David A, you remember Deontay Wilder was called in as a sparring partner. He was not even worthy enough to fight Tyson Fury at all. So all those times Tyson Fury has always been up there, while Deontay Wilder always been not down there, but he was beneath him, because Tyson Fury fought for the European title. He became unified champion even before Deontay Wilder fought for his first title. So I personally, based on experience, based on skills pays the bills anyway. So I think Tyson Fury wins this fight 1 point.
There you have it.
So that's it.
So thanks for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed the Emmanuel boxing. And please don't forget to drop your comments. So who do you think will win the match? Comment
don't
below.
Forget to subscribe.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Elmano TV.